And what's up, everybody? This is the one and only, the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders, and you're listening to the Tuesday Night Wrestling Report edition of the RCWR Show. Been on a 48-hour break. Hope everybody has been doing pretty good. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. You all were able to relax, spend some time with some loved ones, hopefully go see something decent in the theaters. I know Batman, The Dark Knight Rises is still the number one movie in America, as Total Recall, the reboot, starring Colin Farrell, surpassing Arnold Schwarzenegger's version, just wasn't able to get the job done, as it's coming in at number 2 right now. So Batman's still holding it down pretty good. Thank those of you that's checking out tonight's show on Blog Talk Radio and over at our sister website at InfinityOneProductions.com. We got a great show that's lined up for you tonight. We definitely wanted to do a deluxe edition because a lot of stuff has just been going on since last we were on the air. And for those of you that may have missed those major headlines, you definitely will be getting your fixings tonight. For those of you that already know what's been going on, you're just tuning in to hear my input, well, you definitely will not be disappointed, as, of course, we'll be covering the fallout from WWE Raw this past Monday night, but we'll also be dipping into the very latest in wrestling-related news, as probably one of the biggest headlines of the weekend was former ECW WWF diva Dawn Marie coming to defense of her Wrestlers Rescue organization after WWE wrestling legend, the Uganda Giant Kamala, blasted her in a YouTube video last week. Now, Dawn Marie's video was a 2-part piece, as she was explaining her organization and just really trying to come to defense of it. Has the wrestling community a bit divided right now? For those of you that were not fortunate to check out those Dawn Marie interview pieces, we'll definitely be letting you hear those, as we'll be airing her pieces throughout the night. We'll also let you all hear the Kamala piece that he had uploaded on YouTube, which really had just set off a big old chain reaction. So it's definitely going to be a pretty damn good show tonight. Of course, we will be definitely getting you all's reactions, as we have our chat room that is open right now on Blog Talk Radio, so feel free to jump on in there. blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR Show. Just look for our chat room. Boom, you'll be in there. And you can also join in on a discussion by interacting with us. That's right, the lovely co-producer Tammy is behind the scenes paying attention to the Twitter feeds. Send us a tweet if you'd like. We're up on Infinity One Prod on Twitter at Infinity One Prod. You can also join in on the discussion by hitting us up on Facebook at Infinity One Productions. And something new that we're doing, especially when we get ready to remix our shows and upload them to YouTube, you can now be a part of the show. If you have a cell phone, all you got to do, just set yourself up with a Toot account. Just take you less than 3 minutes to complete, and look for us on there. We're on Toot at the RCWR Show. Send us your 15-second video reactions to any other number of the topics that we'll be covering on our shows, and we'll definitely do our best to include you when we remix them for YouTube. So a lot of ways that you can interact with us and be a part of the show. Now, as we said last week, and I just wanted to get this out there before we just dive right into things, we just want to take this opportunity once again to thank those of you that had listened to our July episodes of the RCWR Show and Impact Showdown. As, get this, people, you made the month of July be our most downloaded and listened to episodes since we have been on the air. And we've only been at it now for about 6 months. Really hard to believe, but yes, you made the month of July be our most downloaded and listened to shows. And for that, we just want to give you guys, one more time, we just want to give you all a big thank you. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. And, hey, continue to spread the good word about our show. Let your friends, let your family in on it, especially those that are wrestling fans. Definitely make sure that you spread that good word. Get them in on it as well. But once again, thank you all for making July be a really good month for us. We're going to try to see if we can keep that momentum going, especially since we got 2 pay-per-views lined up. So it's going to be pretty awesome, as we got the TNA Hardcore Justice pay-per-view coming up this Sunday, and then the week after that, we'll have the 25th anniversary of WWE SummerSlam. So pretty busy month for August. Good way to kind of put a bookend on summer, if you will. All right, so without any further ado, let's definitely go on ahead and jump into what all had went down on Raw this past Monday night. And special shout-out to those of you that are looking to call into the show. We'll be opening up the phone lines in the later part of the show, but you can get that head start now if you like. Feel free to call us. We are at 646-478-3525. Once again, that number is 646-478-3525. And again, we'll definitely be opening up the wrestling fan lines to get your reaction in the later part of tonight's show. So let's dive into what all had happened on this past Monday night's Raw, folks. We had saw a, where do I even begin? We saw a new Raw intro, finally. It seemed like it was so naked not seeing Raw have some type of a video/song intro, but we would finally get it. And I must say, I was very pleased with what I saw. I actually liked the song selection. I know a lot of people were a little bit on the fence about it. I like the song selection. I think that it definitely fits what's happening on the Raw side of things right now. Definitely love anything better than Nickelback. I'm sorry. I know we got some hardcore Nickelback fans out there, but I'm just not feeling the Nickelback. Every single Nickelback song I hear, dude always sounds the same. He just sounds the same. Just really, that was long overdue. It seemed like they had that Nickelback intro for, God, what, folks, at least seems like 5 years, maybe 6 years almost. About damn time they got rid of it. So definitely was loving seeing the intro. Was I the only one, though, who noticed that with that new Raw intro, CM Punk did not end it? It was actually Sheamus. I wonder if they're going to kind of tweak that a little bit come next week, especially after the latest events that we had saw. Of course, one of the main highlights of tonight's Raw that we saw from Monday night was CM Punk, who had a bit of heated words with the Raw GM, AJ Lee, as he pretty much told her, hey, I know that I said some stuff to you that was a little bit out of context. It was pretty much disrespecting your authority, and I don't mean to disrespect you. I want to, let you know that it's all good at my end. I respect you, and I just want to apologize for being disrespectful to you, and you're welcome is pretty much what he would put out there to AJ. But then we would really learn what it was that CM Punk had in mind, as he was really apologizing and trying to butter up AJ to get out of having this triple threat match against Big Show and John Cena. But AJ would, in fact, let the WWE Champion know that, no, your match, it's still on. And this just upset CM Punk, who tried to take a personal page out of Daniel Bryan's playbook by saying to AJ that she is doing this out of spite because he did not accept her marriage proposal a few weeks back. And from there, we would see John Cena come out, and he would let CM Punk know that, hey, as many times as I've won the WWE Championship, and it's been 11 times now, and I've been in the company for 10 years, no matter what I do, I still get the type of reactions I get from the crowd, and just played so perfectly as we saw that mixed crowd chanting the "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks," as Cena would point out to CM Punk that he notices that Punk is starting to become those type of guys that always want to come out there and pull the disrespectful card, that they feel like they're being gypped, and telling him if you want to earn that respect, you really got to go out there and be about it. Well, we would also see Big Show get ready to come down and put his 2 cents into the matter, but we would see AJ just take control of everything and point out how Big Show and CM Punk and John Cena, they will all be in matches tonight. As for the first time ever, we will see Daniel Bryan take on John Cena. And in the meantime, Big Show will be taking on the Viper, Randy Orton. CM Punk, well, his match would be determined by the WWE Universe, as the selections were Rey Mysterio, The Miz, and Kane. And the person that had won that match, the right to face CM Punk, would be Rey Mysterio by 47%. I was actually a little bit surprised that the WWE Universe voted in favor of Rey Mysterio. I was so under the impression that they were going to go in another direction. Really nice to see that they went with Rey Mysterio. I just felt it made perfect sense. We hadn't seen him last week, I believe, on Raw or SmackDown. I could be wrong about SmackDown, but I'm pretty sure that we didn't see him last week on either shows. So really nice to see Rey Mysterio come back, and what a great match that these two guys had. It was definitely something that I was really paying attention to. It was one of my favorite highlights of the night. I know we have a lot of Rey Mysterio, anti-Rey Mysterio fans out there because the guy keeps getting his poor knees broke every time you turn around. But when you just push all that to the side and you just deal with Rey Mysterio in the ring, just doing what he does best, yes, the time may have caught up to him a little bit, but Rey Mysterio still knows how to throw it down, and he just did not disappoint in this match with CM Punk, as we would see CM Punk pick up the victory here. Now, I'm not quite sure if Rey Mysterio should have taken a defeat by CM Punk, as he just recently came back. At the same time, I can appreciate the booking. Let's see just how long it can be to make sure that Rey Mysterio doesn't sit up and have any type of injury problems. I feel if he can stay healthy for at least the next, I would say, 4 or 5 months, maybe WWE will begin to look highly in favor of him, and maybe we could see that reignited push once again. Really be nice to see him go out on a high note. Of course, one of the other key highlights of the night for me was to see the vignette hyping up the return of the Barrett Barrage, Wade Barrett, who is now pushing a beard. I was just in awe as I am seeing this video hyping up his return. I mean, he looked like Zod from Superman 2. All I could do was just kick back and just picture Zod saying to Superman, "You will kneel before Zod, son of Kal-El." I was just really feeling that. And if y'all don't know what the hell I'm talking about, Superman, directed by Richard Donner, Christopher Reeves, come on now, Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. Surely you've seen that movie. If you haven't and you got Netflix, go check it out. Superman 2, out of all 4 Superman movies, I personally thought Superman 2 was the best, as it had General Zod and the Kryptonians that have escaped from the prison. Really awesome right there. But yeah, Wade Barrett, the Barrett Barrage, returns looking like a major badass. I can't wait to see this guy come back. He definitely, just that video alone just really has me pumped up. It was really sad to see him go out on that injury. I mean, who could not forget that episode of Raw where he had teamed up with Chris Jericho, and I can't think of the other participants, but it was a tag match, and he just messed his shoulder up bad when he had landed funny outside the ring. And let's not forget how that episode of Raw went off, where we had Jericho at that point who really wasn't saying hardly anything, and he would break character as Raw was still on the air for at least another 30 seconds. We would see him walk over to an official, and we could read his mouth word for word. What happened to Barrett? Is he okay? So really scary when we saw Barrett just land the way that he did, but looks like he's better than ever. Can't wait to see him return. Of course, we had the continued program between Alberto Del Rio and Sheamus, as let's not forget of what all had transpired last week on SmackDown, as we had saw Alberto Del Rio take on Randy Orton, and at the end of the match, we would see Del Rio try to leave the ring, and he didn't really want to have anything to do with Randy Orton, but we would see Sheamus come in, and he would throw Del Rio into the ring, and Randy Orton, as he promised on SmackDown last week, he was definitely going to be delivering a RKO to Del Rio. Well, we would see Del Rio and Sheamus continue their little feud, as we see Del Rio in an earlier segment. He's parking this really fine black Ferrari, looks really just really badass. Sheamus would come across it, and he would take it out on a night of joyride all across San Antonio. He was checking out a few places, and very brilliant hyping up marketing on WWE's part, because they were sitting up saying how Sheamus was on tout, and he was sitting up and sending his little joyride escapades on their really nice little smart way to try to bring more traffic to the website. And I was noticing, along with Zed, as he was kicking back and he was interacting with WWE fans throughout the night as Raw aired, one of the replies that we had received was, "Oh, you all like tout?" And Zed, way to throw it down, man. I couldn't agree more. It's not about whether or like we specifically like tout. You can just appreciate the brilliance in the way WWE has been marketing this new piece of social media, and just the way they've been really able to utilize it, as it is really been helping them bring in more traffic. It's been helping them bring in more wrestling fans, as they revealed in a WWE trivia. Apparently, they get over 40,000 new fans for their Facebook page. So, and that's a day, folks. So, I mean, that's just freaking phenomenal right there. So, really great strategy on WWE's part, utilizing the way that they do to tout. It doesn't matter. It's the same damn thing. But, yeah, way for them to drive traffic there, as they had Sheamus going around posting up his tout vids of him joyriding. Of course, eventually, Sheamus would bring the car back, but the car was totally trashed. How he was able to do that in about 2 hours, I don't know, but that car just looked really bad. I felt just really, poor Del Rio, because he was pushing the all nice black look. He's got the black Ferrari, and now you don't have a ride for the night. Looks like you'll have to possibly take a taxi. Oh, poor Del Rio. Of course, we would see Alberto Del Rio also get put in a match against Christian as he thought he had the night off. He ran into AJ in a backstage segment, and AJ did, in fact, tell him he was off for the night. But just as she was walking off, Del Rio sat up and said, "Oh, I thought she was going to do something crazy and put me in a match. Glad she didn't." Well, AJ would hear that keyword, crazy, and she would put him in a match against the former Intercontinental Champion recently, Christian. Well, despite being told that he had a match at the very last minute, we will see Alberto Del Rio come out, and though it wasn't quite a squash match, he did still defeat Christian. Del Rio, he's continuing that mean streak. It seems like as of late, every single time Del Rio has been getting in that ring, he has just been making people tap out with that cross arm breaker, really starting to prove that he could be a serious threat that he should not be taken lightly. And, of course, we would see Randy Orton versus Big Show. Now, you just knew that for both of these guys, it really wouldn't make much sense for either one of them to try to pick up a win. Now, we had Randy Orton, who just returned, and it really wouldn't have made sense to have his momentum be sucked out by taking a defeat to the Big Show. Big Show, on the other hand, you just knew he wasn't going to lose to Randy Orton because he needs a little bit of momentum going into the SummerSlam pay-per-view, right? Right. So, of course, this match would end in a double countout. This match definitely didn't surprise me right here. Post-match is where it got a little interesting, though, because we would see Big Show try to look for the WMD on Orton, but Orton was able to counter and hit him with an RKO. Big props to Big Show for really selling that RKO. And, of course, not once, not twice, not three, at least 4 times throughout the night, folks, we would get the much-anticipated return of HBK, Shawn Michaels, as it's HBK Appreciation Night. And guess who else was there? None other than Brock Lesnar and Triple H. So you just knew that this was going to be one of the main attractions for the night. How would it come off? How would the payoff be? Well, let's go on ahead and let's tackle this right now rather than later. Everything was set in stone. The setting could not be any better. It is almost like, how can I describe it, folks? The way that the setting was with HBK being in his hometown in San Antonio, Texas. You have Triple H there. You have Brock Lesnar there. You have Paul Heyman there. It was the perfect setting almost for a romantic dinner. Perfect analogy. You're trying to impress your girlfriend. You decide you want to learn how to make some type of dish, maybe have a nice little dessert, and maybe at the end of the night, y'all can get busy, all right? So you set up, you make this really nice dinner. You went to FYE or you went to Amazon.com. You got a nice little bomb CD that you and your girl can make out to. Everything is just perfect, right? But it doesn't quite go according to plan. And this is exactly how I felt when I watched this Triple H Brock Lesnar segment. Now let's talk about what worked with this segment. What worked was seeing Paul Heyman along with Brock Lesnar confront Shawn Michaels as Shawn Michaels was getting ready to talk about who he felt was going to win at SummerSlam, as a lot of people have been asking him for his input. And just before we could hear Shawn Michaels go into that detail, we would see the confrontation. Nice setup right there. I loved that. I loved Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar double teaming verbally on Shawn Michaels. We have Heyman letting Shawn know, hey, on any other night, your opinion would probably be right on the spot, Shawn. But on this night, you are wrong if you are going against Brock Lesnar. And then we go to Brock Lesnar, who grabs the microphone, and he tells Shawn Michaels, hey, the only reason why you're going with Triple H is because you never stepped in the ring with me. And it looked as if we were about to get some type of a physical confrontation before the game. Triple H comes out to back up his buddy. And we would see Shawn Michaels. He finally got a little bit of backbone once Hunter got in the ring. And he would say to Heyman and Lesnar that, look, on this night, I'm telling you guys, I know who's going to win, and it's going to be Triple H. I'm so confident that he's going to win that I am going to be with him at ringside in SummerSlam, rooting him on as he defeats you. Well, we would see Brock Lesnar once again leave the ring. But before leaving, we would see him say to Triple H, I will see you at SummerSlam, but he would then look at Shawn Michaels and say, and you, I'll see you before then, which sparked a lot of in a lot of people, as last we heard, Brock Lesnar was only supposed to show up for Raw 1000. He was supposed to show up for this past episode of Raw, and at this point he is supposed to show up the night after SummerSlam, but it looks like Brock Lesnar is going to be popping up possibly one more time before then, which just really brings into question how are they going to pull this off, because the perfect setting would have been on that night. Just how can they capitalize on this now? You know that the writing is on the wall. You know that Brock Lesnar physically has to do something to Shawn Michaels to really further along his program with Triple H, to really get under Triple H's skin. So it didn't happen on this past Monday night. Will it definitely happen before then? We definitely can't wait to see how this is going to play out. They missed one huge opportunity. Let's see, though, if they can make the payoff as we all are picturing it. Let's see if they can make that payoff become a reality, as that would just be brilliant writing on WWE's part. But little bit disappointed with how the segment had came off. Still decent, but a little disappointed with how it had came off. But, of course, the real story was after Raw went off the air, as officially it was HBK Appreciation Night, and we can only report to you what we had saw. We briefly had saw the videos that were uploaded on YouTube by fans, but WWE, very smart, they quickly sat up and they put out their copyright claims, so those videos were pulled down. Apparently WWE, they really do not want people to see this. This was just basically a moment for the wrestlers and those in attendance. But from what we were able to gather, Vince McMahon had came out and he had said to Shawn Michaels how much he loves him, that he feels like he's a father to him, and we would see Undertaker come out, and Undertaker, he says some really classy things about about Shawn Michaels, and he kind of almost came off as if he was a little bit out of character. We would also see Triple H come down, and he would say a few words. We would see other WWE wrestlers come out, John Cena come out. Very great little moment right here. Definitely one that deserves to be on a future Shawn Michaels DVD if they ever decide that they want to make another Shawn Michaels story or maybe include it in a Best of Raw. Really great moment right there. Of course, one of the other highlights of Raw was seeing Daniel Bryan in action. That's right, Daniel Bryan versus John Cena. We actually had a lot of anti-John Cena fans really loving this match, and who could blame them? I mean, Daniel Bryan, he was really bringing out some stuff that we all, can't be stressed enough. John Cena, when he wants to, he knows how to wrestle. And on this night, the way he was working with Daniel Bryan, I was just really, really loving these two guys. Loved how Daniel Bryan, as talented as he is as a technician, I love how he didn't embarrass John Cena, but at the same time he was looking damn impressive. One of the main highlights I loved for the entire episode of Raw, not to mention just before the opening bell, as they're looking down at each other, and we hear the fans in attendance. Great crowd, by the way. Love that San Antonio, Texas crowd. They were really into that show. You could really feel the energy off with them. It definitely helped make Raw a decent Raw, I feel, as we see the WWE fans letting John Cena have it, telling him he sucks. Let's go, Cena. Cena sucks. Daniel Bryan, fresh off of his new no catchphrase, he would sit up and literally, while in character, but at the same time, you knew exactly what he was doing, and it was just brilliant on his part. He would capitalize on it and say, no, 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 this is about me. This is about me, not him. You all need to be focused on me. And we just see Daniel Bryan working the crowd. Very brilliant right here. I love how his mind quickly was able to adapt to what all was happening with Cena, as yes, you want to dilute that Cena sucks. You want to dilute all of that. You want to try to help get Cena over. And Daniel Bryan, even though he had took a loss to John Cena, it was still a fantastic moment. He still came off looking very strong. Now, some would question why we didn't see Daniel Bryan possibly try to get a little bit of retribution on Kane from what had happened on the 1000th episode last week rather, where we saw Kane reveal himself to be Daniel Bryan's anger management therapist. And we would see Kane in action as Kane would take on The Miz. Keep in mind, Miz is the new Intercontinental Champion. Now, here's a little bone I have to pick with this match. We see Kane defeat Miz. Now, Miz just came back from filming the new Marine movie, Homefront, that's getting ready to come out shortly, straight to DVD. You just put the Intercontinental title on him, right? Why in the blue hell would you have him lose to Kane? That hurts his momentum. It would have made sense for Daniel Bryan to come out, interfere in this match, and maybe while the referee's distracted, we could have just seen Daniel Bryan just pimp slap Kane and go hauling off to the backstage area, and then we could have seen Kane try to give chase, and Miz could have picked up a win via countout. That just would have made sense. Kane still could have looked a little strong. You want to try to put in some type of seeds for their match. You want to try to build up some type of hype to want to watch Kane versus Daniel Bryan. Now, don't get me wrong. This match that's going to happen at SummerSlam between Kane and Daniel Bryan is going to be a good match without a doubt. Kane's definitely going to be working double time to really try to put Kane over. Rest assured of that. But still, it would have been a perfect night to sit up and do it just like that to really help further along that storyline. Let's go back to what had happened, though, with Daniel Bryan and John Cena, as after the conclusion of this match, we would see the WWE Champion CM Punk interrupt John Cena's celebration as he would get in the ring and he would go face-to-face with John Cena, and they're just staring each other down, almost shades of what had happened on that infamous night of Raw where CM Punk had returned with his WWE Championship as John Cena was just crowned the WWE Champion, and there we had two WWE Champions standing in the ring to end Raw. Great moment right there. Almost captured that same magic the past Monday night, but then we would see Big Show come out, and Big Show, I've never seen Big Show run before. It looked very scary. We would see him run down the ramp. He's getting ready to go into the ring. We would see Cena push Punk out of the way, and he's just trying to attack the 7'2", 500-pound giant. Well, CM Punk, he didn't really like being ignored, pushed to the side once again, as he would capitalize on this, as we would see him attack Big Show and John Cena from behind. After second week in a row now, folks, we see John Cena try to pick up Big Show and put him in that attitude adjustment, only to get attacked from CM Punk. Cena, you would think you would turn around by now. You saw what happened to you last week. Why aren't you turning around and looking at CM Punk face to face as you're giving an attitude adjustment to Big Show? I'm just saying, hopefully this doesn't happen a third time, as it'll really start to get a little stale. But in either case, after we see CM Punk attack the two, we would see him go over to the announcer's table, and he would pick on Jerry Lawler while also saying that this is exactly how Raw needs to end. It needs to end with him as the WWE champion standing tall. This is how it needs to be, as it's been for the past two Raws now, because it is all about him and his dominance and his WWE championship and him being the WWE champion. Well, we would see him get back in the ring, and he is looking at a staggering Big Show rising to his feet, and he tries to deliver that trademark kick to the head. But Big Show was able to grab that leg in time and just deliver that knockout blow as he delivered that massive WMD to just lay out CM Punk. We would then see John Cena begin to come to his feet, and Big Show would deliver another WMD to surprisingly have Raw go off the air being all about Big Show. Brilliant booking on WWE's part. He lost a little bit of momentum when he had his match against Randy Orton, as it ended in a countout, but they quickly were able to rebound there at the very end. And yes, we know Big Show's not going to get the WWE Championship at SummerSlam, but at the same time, you have to create that illusion. You have to create that doubt in the mind of that wrestling fan that Big Show could possibly get the job done. So very smart writing right here on WWE's part, I feel. One of the other highlights that we had saw on Monday night's episode of Raw, which I thought was a pretty cool moment there. We saw my man Damian Sandow beating the living crap out of Brodus Clay, as they were supposed to have a one-on-one match, but we would see Damian Sandow attack Brodus Clay, who was coming down to the ring, and he would just go to work on his leg. And match, it never happened. EMTs, they had to come out, and they had to escort Brodus Clay, I believe, on a stretcher. Not really sure. Or maybe they helped him to the back. I'm not sure. But Damian Sandow, he really went to work on Brodus Clay there. Now we have all the dirt sheets and the website sitting up saying, oh, WWE officials are very high on Damian Sandow. That's why he did what he did to Brodus Clay. You think? Where the hell have you been? The guy's been sitting up doing what the hell he needs to be doing since day freaking one. You didn't need to see what had happened between him and Brodus Clay this past Monday night on Raw to know that WWE officials are possibly high on Sandow. anybody that has been watching Damien Sandow since he's popped up on SmackDown will be very quick to tell you that it's just been a matter of time before we start seeing him have dual responsibilities to the Raw and SmackDown brand. And hey, I was one of the first people a couple of months back that sat up and said, don't be too surprised if you see Damien Sandow start to become a major player on the Raw side of things. Don't be surprised if you may see him become exclusive to Raw, as he's that damn good. So major props right here for Damien Sandow, and hopefully we won't see a scenario where Damien will be taking on Brodus Clay on a YouTube pre-show for SummerSlam. I would actually pay to see Sandow take on Brodus Clay at an actual match. So let's see if we can make that happen, WWE. Don't make this be a YouTube pre-show. Make it an actual match at SummerSlam. I think it could be definitely entertaining. But if they were to make it a YouTube pre-show, it would still be good just the same, I feel. Of course, one of the other highlights that we had saw was the return after, God, it seems like it's been gone for maybe a month, maybe more. We saw the return of Divas action. It made me go, as we saw the return of, have to say her name twice, Kelly Kelly, as she defeated Eve. Now, this match, I must admit, it was actually decent. Kelly Kelly kind of seemed a little unsure about some of the things that she wanted to do. She kind of came off like, okay, you stay right there. I'm going to do this, and I need enough time so I can get right here, and then I'm going to do this to you. She just looked like she was being very cautious in the ring there. Little, made me kind of weary a little bit, because I really wasn't sure what the hell she was about to do. I thought maybe she was about to slip and fall and bust her head or something. But still, it was a decent match. It had actually got more than 3 minutes. I believe it was a 6, maybe a 7-minute long match. Not too bad. I was pretty pleased with what I had saw. And surprisingly, and it's something that a lot of people didn't point out, here was finally a time here where we didn't hear Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler bash the hell out of the match that they were watching. On the contrary, folks, we would actually hear Jerry Lawler say, yeah, Kelly Kelly picks up the win, and yeah, it was actually a decent match. So not usually something that you hear Cole and Lawler say. Might this be a prelude of things to come, as WWE now, they have been seriously wanting to give the Divas division a little bit of a facelift. And hey, honestly, if you give the Divas a little bit more time to tell their story and perform, they could definitely command the spotlight. They just need that right amount of time to be invested. Not sure if I would go with Kelly Kelly. Eve, I have no problem with, but I would say limit the amount of times you have to go with Eve as far as wrestling. But might this be a taste of things to come? Who knows, folks? But hey, we got Raw that's now 3 hours. They got time that they need to fill in there. Let's see some more Divas come back and wrestle. It's time to see Beth Phoenix, Natalya. Let's see them come back. Let's see Tamina come back. Let's see all the Divas come back. Those that know how to wrestle pretty damn good, I might add. So there you have it right there. I thought it was a pretty strong, solid episode of WWE Raw. I definitely stand behind the review that I had gave it on our website over at InfinityOneProductions.com. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I definitely just thought that a lot of the matches that had played out was definitely on point. Before it slips my mind, how about Alex Riley? We got to show Alex Riley love. He's from the frickin' nation's capital. He gets a win over Mr. Show-Off, Mr. Money in the Bank, Dolph Ziggler. Guy hasn't won in I don't know how freaking long. And for those of you that may have forgotten the backstory on why Alex Riley has been on the doghouse, some weird backstage segment had happened a good while back where John Cena was making fun of Alex Riley. Alex Riley, he basically stood up for himself, and John Cena, well, he pretty much told higher-ups what had happened, and Alex Riley has been in the doghouse ever since. So this is probably like the second win in, almost a year for A-Rod, but surprisingly, he picked up a victory over Dolph Ziggler. Beautiful thing I had loved about this match was seeing Chris Jericho on commentating, and he really did a fantastic job making Alex Riley seem like a legitimate threat. I just love the way he was talking about him, saying this guy shouldn't be undermined. Let's not forget, this guy was a personal aide to The Miz, who went on to become the WWE champion. So he learned from one of the best. Ziggler definitely should not take him lightly. We definitely should not take him lightly. He could pull an upset here. Jericho really selling it. And, man, we saw A-Rod pick up a freaking win. About freaking time. Congrats to A-Rod. Hopefully this is the start of things to come. Definitely love seeing our boy A-Rod pick up a victory here. All right, and that is going to do it for our Raw recap, folks. Do hope y'all had appreciated that. Now, we definitely want to go on ahead now, and, damn, we're just getting the show started. We're only at the 47-minute mark, and we still got a ton of show to go. It's a deluxe edition of the RCWR Show, Tuesday Night Wrestling Report. We got a ton of stuff that we got to get you caught up on, wrestling news-wise. As we said at the top of the hour, we had some stuff that had went down with Dawn Marie over the weekend, and we had some stuff that had went down with a WWE diva. We'll definitely get you guys caught up on what all happened. I'll definitely give you my takeaway on everything that's been transpiring so far. So kick back. You're listening to Tuesday night edition of the RCWR Show. We're going to go on ahead, and we're going to take a brief commercial break, and then when we come right back, we'll go on ahead and we will jump right into it. So, hang tight, folks. We'll be coming right back.
Tired of those wrestling websites that give you redirects, spyware, weird pop-ups? How about those misleading headlines? Instead of hitting the keyboard in frustration, why not visit InfinityOneProductions.com? Infinity One is the source for wrestling-related news and so much more without all the hassle. Visit InfinityOneProductions.com. Your keyboard will thank you.
Hey guys, Lee Sanders here with the RCWR Show, and I'd like to take this time out to tell you about one or two quick apps that I think you should check out when you get a free moment. First app I'd like to recommend to you is the app from Stitcher. Now, Stitcher allows you to be able to play all our episodes of the RCWR Show and Impact Showdown on your portable devices, such as an Android phone, Kindle Fire, iPad, you name it, it'll be able to play it. So definitely highly recommend that you check that out. It's available for free in the App Store. Stitcher, new and smart way to play radio. Also, another cool app that I'd like to recommend to you all is a new app that came out not too long ago from Apple. That's right, Apple has recently come out with a free podcast app. Now, this app is really cool, folks, because after we are done doing our shows, all you have to do is just subscribe to our episodes. And you can do this by downloading this new free podcast app. All you have to do, visit the App Store on your iPhone or iPad and just search podcast. Once the app is downloaded, you can then type in the name of our shows, the RCWR Show and Impact Showdown, and you'll be able to subscribe. It's that easy. So you have two cool free apps that you can check out and take all our episodes with you on the go. So get to it already.
Live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., this is the RCWR Show with your host, Lee Sanders.
All right, and we're back. This is the RCWR Show. I am, of course, the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders. Do thank you all for checking out tonight's show on August 7th, 2012. Hey, have you subscribed to us through the iTunes and Zune marketplaces? If not, then make sure you do when you get a chance, as all our episodes are downloadable for free. Grab them so you'll always know the 411 on what's happening in the wrestling community with honest, no BS or fluff analysis of wrestling shows you love and watch without all the constant bashing. You can also check out episodes for free, special episodes, that is, where we have special guests that have come on to the show from time to time. So you can listen to shows featuring special guests such as current Empire Wrestling champion and former TNA Gut Check contestant Joey Ryan, MMA president of UCC Fights Chris Splendorio, former ECW champion, the famous Justin Reno, metal guitarist Xander Demas, and so much more. Also, while you're subscribing through iTunes, Zune Marketplaces, feel free to leave a review of our shows and let us know how we're doing, as we love to hear from you. Programming note, the RCWR Show Weekend Report is going to be taking a 2-week hiatus so that we can cover the TNA Hardcore Justice and WWE SummerSlam pay-per-views that are going to be coming your way. So in its place, you'll be getting a special Call That Match edition. That's right. It's the RCWR Show Call That Match special. Now, you'll be able to catch a new installment of that this Saturday at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern, as it's time for me to dust off that thinking cap as a writer and booker. And I'm coming fresh off of a undefeated streak with the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, as I called every single match right. As I'm going to be putting on those thinking caps once again and give my predictions on who will win at the Hardcore Justice pay-per-view, and offer a little insight as far as what storylines you could possibly expect next. So definitely check that out. It's a new The RCWR Show Call That Match edition covering the TNA Hardcore Justice pay-per-view. Make sure you check that out. So, where do I even begin as far as wrestling news? I'm just going to jump out at the one that just really speaks of large volumes to me the most, which is the comments that were made by WWE wrestling legend Kamala. Now, the Uganda Giant, the former Hall of Famer, whatever you want to call this guy, he recently sat up and he had some poor choice words to say about two individuals. Now, the first individual is a promoter by the name of Dan Mariotti, who runs a Boston Millennium Wrestling Federation. Y'all can check that out at BostonMillenniumWrestlingFederation.com. I believe Google search, it's your best friend. But he took shots at Dan Mariotti, as Dan Mariotti, and this guy with his wrestling promotion, he's been doing his thing now for about over 11 years. He's been making it his business to throw all different types of charity events, helping wrestlers out in need. Really great guy, really cool programs that he's been having over the years, raising money for charities. He had came across what had happened with Kamala having his other leg removed due to diabetes complications, poor health, and wanted to try to help Kamala, wanted to try to raise money for him. And Dan Mariotti, he would sit up and he would send out a check on Kamala's behalf. Now, this check was made in the amount of $425, I believe, and it was made out to the Cauliflower Alley Club, and with the intent that it goes to Kamala. Now, Cauliflower Alley Club, they've built a pretty damn good reputation when it comes to helping folks out in need, wrestlers in need. Really great stuff right there. And Kamala would sit up and he would post a YouTube video on July 31st bashing Don Mariotti, saying that basically his company and all that, he heard some things about them. He didn't want to believe it, but he heard some things about them, and he would say that MWF, they are no good, can't trust them, stay away from them. And he would also go on to take a shot at Dawn Marie and her RCWRSHOW.org organization, and he would tell Dan Mariotti that he could take whatever money he may have raised, go to New Jersey, stick it straight up Dawn Marie's ass. It's pretty much pushing midnight now, so we can let loose a little bit with the profanity. So if your ears are a little bit too sensitive to profanity, you don't have to keep listening, but I'm making very valid points here, so the payoff is going to be really sweet. You'll appreciate the end result. So for those of you that have not listened to this piece, I want you to listen to this. For those of you that did listen to this piece, I want you to just close your eyes, and I just want you to pretend that you're listening to this again for the very first time. Now, I don't want you guys to have emotions running through your veins as you're about to hear what you're about to hear. That also goes for the Dawn Marie pieces. I want you to do your very best to listen with your nerves being untouched and your ears just being open and you're just taking in all the information, okay? I'm going to play this Kamala piece. Now, visually, let me set this up for you, okay? The camera first comes on. All we see are no legs from Kamala. And the camera just slowly moves up to his head. And then he begins talking. And in my honest opinion, it sounds like a damn pity party. I'll let you be the judge for those of you that did not listen to this piece. So let's go on ahead and let's play it right now. Here is Kamala. Now, this is a 8-minute piece. I may not let it play in its entirety. I may cut it off right where the juicy stuff needs to be heard. Who knows? But we'll just see how it goes as he's talking, and if it starts to suck, I'll definitely cut it off. But let's go on ahead. Let's play this Kamala interview piece from July 31st. All right? This is him taking aim at Dawn Marie and Dan Mariotti of Millennium Wrestling Federation.
Hello, everybody. I'm James Kamala Harris. I just want to clear up a few things. We have a few organizations that's going around saying they're doing benefits for me, and I never see anything. There are some legit ones because I've dealt with them. But this Millennium Wrestling Federation out of Boston, Dan Mariotti, no good. Dawn Marie, Wrestling Rescue, I've heard a lot of negative things about you, but I gave you the benefit of the doubt. No good. Everything that I've heard is true. Both of you, MWF and Wrestlers Rescue, raise money for your own benefit. But like I say, there's a few that are legit because they have helped me. But I'm not all about money about what you can do for me. Those of you that writes me by email, those of you that send your prayers, you're my friends. You don't have to fund me to be my friend. I'm your friend anyway. I think back. Anybody that donate to MWF, I want you to know that it's not getting to where it's supposed to. Anybody that donate to Wrestlers Rescue with Don Marie, it don't get where it's supposed to. I remember Don Marie told me that she made a donation to Steve Dr. Death Williams after he was gone. Well, a dead man can't speak for himself. There is no proof of it. I think back. You know, when people's got a lot of money in their pocket, they can buy the way out of most of anything. And that ain't right. When you got a lot of money in your pocket, then a major crime becomes just a simple assault, and that ain't right. When you got a lot of money in your pocket, then homicide becomes just a misdemeanor, and that ain't right. When you got a lot of money in your pocket, you use the unfortunate ones as stepping stones, and that ain't right. When you got a lot of money in your pocket, then justice take the back seat to injustice, and that ain't right. I said that to say this. Don Marie, any money that you raise on my behalf, take it to Massachusetts and ram it up Don Mariah's ass. Don Mariah, any money that you raise on my behalf, I want you to take it to New Jersey and ram it up Don Marie's ass. Because neither one of you done nothing for me but use my name to benefit yourself. And I ask anybody that's donating to any organization on my behalf, contact me first. I'm always on Facebook. So that's about all I have to say. Before I go, there's a few more things I would like to say. And this is toward the WWE. Vince, you know you didn't treat me right. I think about all my merchandise. If they wasn't making money, why do you keep making them? Why do you keep making them if they don't make money? I would like to make a good living like any human being. I know it's a little too late now. I'm 62 years old. I never made money, never had nothing. But I am blessed with my life and my soul. Do you have a soul? Well, I guess everybody have a soul. But do you have a heart? People think I make a lot of money just because they see my merchandise in stores. That don't mean that I make a lot of money, because I don't. But if you call $309 that I got this year, the first and only check this year of 2012, a lot of money, then I'm a rich man. But anyway, I want to thank you for that.
Hey, let's just stop it right there. It was only a few seconds left, but I've heard enough. I'm sure you guys get the gist of that. Okay, so that is Kamala in a nutshell, bashing Dan Mariotti of MWF, bashing Don Marie, bashing Don Marie's WrestlingRescue.org, also taking shots at Vince McMahon, saying, "Hey, you made plenty of money off of me. I didn't really see one dime. Yeah, finally give me some money. It's only $300 and something. Vince, you know you did me wrong, but hey, it's all right." Okay, that's Kamala in a nutshell. Now, remember, this is a video that he posted on YouTube as he did not get his money in time from Dan Mariotti of Millennium Wrestling Federation. Now, this is what Dan Mariotti had to say, and I'm just going to read a section of it because he wrote a pretty lengthy response to Kamala's piece. But I'm just going to highlight key points of what he said to him. So let me go on ahead here. And it goes as follows. This is a key piece right here. And this is one thing that I want for you all to keep in mind with Dan Mariotti. This guy has a physical disability himself. He has CRPS, which is Complex Regional Pain Syndrome. Now, for those of you that aren't quite really familiar with it, it's basically a condition where muscles will flare up, and it flares up to the point where it's really hard for a person to move around. They constantly need to get some type of therapeutic treatment. In some cases, if they get constant therapeutic treatment for it, they can kind of prolong the severe effects of it. They can still kind of live a normal, somewhat balanced life, but you also have those cases where, unfortunately, people just are not able to function on a day-to-day basis, everyday society. So this guy, his condition, it really depends on the time and the day. And it's unfortunate because we were actually supposed to have Dan Mariotti on the show. We did touch bases with him. We were in contact with him over the weekend, and we had extended an invitation to have him come on to the show. And he had said that due to his condition, he really wasn't really sure if he could do the show or not. He said he'd keep us posted, but, you got to keep that condition in mind. So, he's been diagnosed with this since 2008. But here's what he had to say about Kamala, and I just want to read a section here. Quote, unquote, "Shame on you, James Harris. Shame on you for not opening your eyes to see that you had people that cared enough to help you when almost none of your peers cared enough to hit you a retweet button. Shame on you for trying to run my name and the MWFs through the mud because you didn't get your precious check as fast as you wanted to. Waking up at 6 a.m. whining not even 48 hours after the event was over. Shame on you for hiding like a coward after the money was sent to you and trying to prevent people from seeing the truth. I don't care if you were a WWE superstar or a homeless person. You should be ashamed of yourself as a man. When I wake up and look in the mirror, I know the face looking back at me is one that cared and is one that did everything he could to help someone that needed it. The face staring back at me has character and integrity. How dare you insult and attack me after all I did for you, you gutless pussy. Grow a spine and be a man. Be grateful someone wanted and tried to help you, not piss on their efforts. What runs through James Harris' mind will be a psychiatrist's dream come true. Then again, I'm the guy that's been working this column for 4 hours. He goes on to say, sadly, I regret ever getting involved in James Harris' situation. Like 99.99999% of the brotherhood, I should have said, that's too bad, get well soon, or ignored him altogether like the majority and gone about my day. Instead, I dove into the shallow end of the pool to try to raise money and awareness about a situation that happens far too often in our industry. I may not like James Harris right now, but in my heart I know what he's been subjected to by insurance company scum is wrong. At the same time, Kamala, James Harris, knew of the medical battle I was going through, and not one time did he ask, how is I doing? In case you're interested in knowing James, the swelling has gone down a bit, and I'm able to shuffle around the house painfully with my cane. The Diluted has helped to an extent. So that just really gives you an idea of how Dan Mariotti feels about this whole situation. Now, he would follow that message up with another email that he would send to Kamala saying, hey, I looked at your videos and, I still can't help but have some type of respect for you. I just don't see how all of this just went out of proportion. I don't understand why you had blocked us on Facebook, why you had tried to stop further communication with us after you had found out your check was already sent. And Dan Mariotti, he pretty much said, look, I think what you said was wrong. I think that if you had any type of integrity, you would pull that video off. I don't need my kids seeing that when they get older and then they think their dad is some type of a shady bad guy, because quite honestly, I'm not. I tried to do everything I could to help you. It's not my fault. You didn't like our response time to mailing out the check for you. So you can read all of this, of what Dan Mariotti had to say to Kamala, as there was more than one message exchange, along with a photocopy in color of the check for Kamala. You can check it all out on their website at BostonWrestling.com. Again, that's BostonWrestling.com. Now, here's what I have to say with regards to what all has been happening with Kamala, and then we'll go on ahead and we'll touch up on Don Marie. Kamala, 62 years old, unfortunately, when he was growing up, there really wasn't the type of education in public schools that we have now. Nowadays, when you go to more urban areas, at least in the District of Columbia, it seems more and more slowly they're starting to make it be their business to put new computers in schools and trying to set up and make sure that the children that are going to those schools in those urban cities, they get the same type of education that a kid could get in Georgetown at a really nice school. So the times are changing. It may not be coming at the rate that some parents would like, but it is happening. Point is, Kamala might have not had the type of education system that we have today, but he was able to do what he could, all in the name of providing for his family. And I can respect that as a man. You got to do what you got to do. Now, after his wrestling career was done, he sat up and he was a truck driver for a little bit, and hey, next thing you know, he had to get one leg amputated. Well, it's all right. He still had the other leg. He could still kind of function to a certain extent. Now both legs are gone. Now here's a case where this guy, he could have probably still had his legs had he chose to live a different lifestyle. And seeing all the amount of weight that he's packed over the years, unfortunately, as you get older, and it's especially a well-known fact for black African-American males, if you're packing on all that weight as you're getting older, it is going to tie into diabetes, the works. And I can honestly tell you guys, at one point I used to weigh 300 and something pounds. I mean, just picture that, a guy standing 5'6", and he weighs like 300 pounds. And one time I went to the doctor, and I was just trying to get my damn ears cleaned out. And the next thing I know, the conversation went from my ears getting cleaned to losing the weight so that I could live longer. And once I heard the facts from my doctor, I sat up, I did what I needed to do. I worked out, and I lost all the weight. I'm happy to say now that I'm down to 195. So, I mean, that's pretty damn good, from 300 to 195. So, you have to be a little bit smarter when you get older. Unfortunately, Kamala James Harris, he never did kind of get that mentality. That never did really sink in to his head that, I'm getting older now. I definitely want to make sure I don't have any health problems later. Let me kind of shed some of this weight off. So a combination of his eating lifestyle, general lifestyle, is why he ended up having the diabetes and why he ended up ultimately having both of his legs removed. Very unfortunate. I feel bad for the guy, without a doubt. What I can't stand, what irritates the hell out of me, is seeing Kamala release this video, and whoever it was that was shooting him during this piece, how they're just slowly showing you his legs first. I mean, just a big blue screen, a message from Kamala James Harris, and then it just goes right to no legs. And then he's basically sitting up, kind of throwing a little pity party for himself. You guys heard the piece. He's basically throwing a little pity party, talking about how Vince McMahon, you should be lucky that Vince McMahon even sat up and gave you anything. I think many hardcore wrestling fans would sit up and say, yeah, Kamala, he was definitely a good wrestler, but he wasn't quite up there with a Hulk Hogan or an Ultimate Warrior or a Macho Man or a Honky Tonk Man. If you were to sit up and get your hardcore wrestling fans to sit up and make a list of the top 50 WWF wrestlers, Kamala might not even make that list. If he does, he's going to be way down at the bottom, maybe within the 50 range at the bottom list, if lucky. So to try to give off the illusion that Kamala was some type of big freaking deal, I'm sorry, but that really is just not the case, and it's unfortunate because we've heard this story time and time again, folks, where we have those wrestlers that feel like when they wrestled in their time that they were all that and a bag of chips, that the whole world should have been coming to them. And here's this guy that kind of got the impression that everybody should have been really taking care of him after he has all these health complication problems. Now, you sit up and say that you don't want no donations, that you're happy to interact with people just the same. I got to put Kamala James Harris on the spot. We reached out to him over the weekend. We were in contact with him via email more than once. We had gave him an opportunity to come onto the show, hear his side of things. He was more focused on, is this a show where I'm going to actually appear in front of a camera. And we had put all the information out there to him in advance. All the questions that he needed to know, we did answer. Apparently, he was mainly focused on if he was going to be in front of a camera or something. And when we reiterated that, no, this is going to be a radio show that you're going to be doing here. And, I told him, I said, look, from our staff over here that's predominantly African-American, we're probably one of the first all-black wrestling show to really jump out there and really make our mark. Definitely be a huge honor to really have you come on the show and, really hear your side of things, try to straighten all this mess up. Next thing you know, once he found out that he was going to be in front of a camera, he didn't want to have anything to do with us. I'm not bullshitting you. Anybody that wants to look at that email exchange, be more than happy to send it to you, but it is what it is. The vibe that I have been getting from Kamala is that he wants some type of a pity party being thrown for him. Oh, I don't have any legs. Oh, I'm struggling with money. And then the people that are trying to help him out, folks, he's shitting on them because he's not getting the money fast enough. Now, I'm going to make it real for a minute. We haven't done a Keeping It Real segment for a while. I used to be married for 5 years. I was married to a very beautiful woman, and she was in a wheelchair, and she was paralyzed from the waist down. And I had some of my best years with this woman. Eventually we decided, marriage wasn't for us. We divorced, but the whole time that we were together, we were an awesome power couple. And this woman, I have so much great admiration for her because here was a woman, despite being paralyzed from the waist down, and this was due to a severe case of spinal bifida. She sat up and she did not let that disability sideline her. Here was an opportunity for her to sit up, stay at home, collect disability checks, basically rot away indoors, only going out maybe to go to the store or go to a doctor, whatever. But she chose to not live like that. She wanted to live and enjoy life, not rot away. So she goes out there and she still continued to function, okay? This girl sat up working a full-time job, okay? A full-time job that any one of us could go out there and get. And she had a damn good job. She's been working now for almost 13 years, working as first she worked as a hostess where she greeted people. Then she worked her way into admin. So now she's working in the vault. She's handling cash control. She's training people on how to do their jobs. Okay, so just because your legs are gone, there's no reason to throw a fucking sympathy pity party out there. Oh, poor, woe is me. Look at me. Oh, it's just so bad. Here's somebody that's half Kamala's age, and as far as her education, she only went as far as high school and getting her high school diploma. And she was still able to go out there and function. Hell, her friend, who was also my friend, who had the same condition as her, right, can't use her legs for shit. Tell me why homegirl has a driver's license and she's going around, driving. So, it's not over. Life isn't over unless you decide you want to quit and you want to just rot away. And when I look at my ex-wife and I look at her friend, I see two people that sat up and they stared defiance in the face. They knocked down all those barriers of, oh, well, you can't do this because of this. They pretty much said, no, we can do this, and we will. And I just don't see that when I look at Kamala. And it's very unfortunate. Now, you know what? One other person comes into my mind when I see this, and that is the late R&B soul singer Teddy Pendergrass. Now, for those of you that may not remember Teddy Pendergrass, that's the one that sat up and was singing all those very nice love ballads, Turn Off the Lights, Love TKO. He really first came into popularity when he was singing with Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes before embarking on a solo career towards the end of the 70s. Now, he was severely injured in an auto accident out in Philly, and as a result of that, it left him paralyzed from the waist down. Here's a guy that didn't sit up, and he didn't try to throw no pity party, none of that crap. He went on to found the Teddy Pendergrass Alliance, which is a foundation that helps those with spinal cord injuries. And he pretty much went on living for 25 years after his spinal cord injury. Now, he died at the age of 59, so not too far off from Kamala, who's currently 62. So a little bit of a 3-year difference. But there's a guy that sat up and refused to give up on life and tried to turn something so bad into a positive. The same thing can be said for 70s singer Curtis Mayfield. Now, that name may not sound familiar to you, but I bet you all will remember the movie Superfly and how all those songs that was playing on that joint sounded really good. Well, that was Curtis Mayfield, famous African-American soul, R&B, funk singer, songwriter, record producer. Now, he had sat up and he was involved in a serious accident back in the 90s that had left him paralyzed from the neck down after a stage lighting equipment had fell on him at an outdoor concert out in New York. This guy was no longer able to play guitar or all the other major instruments that he played, but he still knew how to sing. And check this out. You want to talk about dedication. You want to talk about not giving up. This guy recorded his last album while in severe pain while lying on his back. Okay? Now, he will go on to receive a Lifetime Grammy Achievement Award. You know, so that really tells you about these people that have similar conditions or, you know, have met some type of a disability where they felt severely sidelined, and they're still able to go out. They still try to do their best to function in society. They aren't giving up. And here we have Kamal, who's sitting up, and he's throwing all these cries out there, how people should help him and all this other crap. You know, my message to Kamala, you know, and it might upset a lot of people, and a lot of people, they might sit up and say, well, you know, who the fuck are you? I'm somebody that has been friends with people with disability, and I can honestly tell you that the people that I have been friends with that have these disabilities, they would sit up and they would say the same thing that I'm getting ready to say, which is, Kamala James Harris, be a man. Stop looking for people to help you. You know, there's no reason for you to kind of throw the persuasion out there that, oh, you know, I don't need your donations. I don't need, you know, I mean, that's a crock of bull, because you're sitting up and you are asking for help. Be a man, you know, do what you got to do. You can still do what you need to do to function in society. It just all depends on how bad you really want it. And these people that you have making these videos for you, they aren't really helping you. If anything, they are making you look severely bad. Now, see, Kamala sat up a little while back, and he did this video with one of his sons bashing the WWE, talking about how the only way his son would be able to get into the WWE is if he looked pretty or if he was gay. That would be the only way that he would get into the company. And he would go on to say how WWE has pretty girls and you pretty much got to be an ass kisser. If you know where to look, you'll be able to find this piece. So I find it funny, so fucking funny, folks, that this guy sits up and he bashes Vince McMahon and all that, but yet talks about how he should be getting some type of a pay cut. He should be getting a bigger check from Vince McMahon after you insulted the man and his company. Now, do I think it's a little messed up that guys like The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, do I think it's a little messed up that we have a ton of popular wrestlers that are still around today that are millionaires probably? Hey, they've invested right. Do I think it's a little messed up that some of these guys, they couldn't retweet a Kamala message to try to see if they could help him out on Twitter and send out a retweet? Yeah, I think it is a little bit messed up, but at the same time, when you really think about what all Kamala has been saying as of late, how can you blame him, Now let's talk about Dawn Marie. Dawn Marie came into crossfire, of course, of all this. She came into scrutiny over what had happened with Dr. Death Steve Williams, as a lot of people felt that she had kept whatever money that was supposed to be going to him, didn't give it to him after before he died. She was keeping it. I mean, she has just really come under the freaking microscope, and it's really fucking sad when you think about it. This right here, I'm going to play this piece for you all. We're going to play part one, and then we're going to take a commercial break, and then we'll get you caught up on other wrestling-related news, and then we'll catch up on part two of her interview, and I'll wrap up her piece in a nutshell. But I want to play part one of the interview for you right now. For those of you that have not listened to this piece, you'll definitely find this very interesting, okay? For those of you that have listened to it before, this time I want you, like with the Kamala piece, close your eyes, just pretend you're hearing it for the first time, and just take in the information as you're getting it. Let your nerves be untested, all right? So let's go ahead, play part one. Then when we come right back, we'll take a commercial break. All right, here's part one of Dawn Marie's interview.
Hi, I'm Dawn Marie, and I'm here today to talk to you about some of the issues and questions revolving around Wrestlers Rescue. The first question is it a 501c3? The answer is no. Wrestlers Rescue is a for-profit. We have a for-profit entity and we have a non-profit entity. The non-profit entity is Pro Wrestling Relief. So we have both entities and we get both benefits. We have a for-profit called Wrestlers Rescue. We have a non-profit called Pro Wrestling Relief. Any fundraising that's done, checks are made out to Pro Wrestling Relief and checks are written out of Pro Wrestling Relief. The booking agency and other ways that we're able to make money will be going through Wrestlers Rescue, the for-profit, and we pay taxes on that. We don't get the tax benefits we get off of for Pro Wrestling Relief. So it's very simple. Wrestlers Rescue is our for-profit, and our non-profit is Pro Wrestling Relief. Okay? With that being said, I would like to start from the beginning of Wrestlers Rescue and just go through a lot of questions that have been out there. The first one being Dr. Death Steve Williams' campaign. When I first spoke with Dr. Death, he had a stoma. He had just battled cancer. And for those of you who don't know, it's a device in the throat that has a hole so he's able to communicate. And he has to put his kerchief over it, a handkerchief or his hand over it, and it blocks the dust and it will block the hole in order for him to resonate to speak. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to help him raise the funds to get a hands-free device. because he was also still wrestling with the stoma, it was dangerous for him because of the dust getting into the stoma. We started to raise funds, and unfortunately his cancer came back. And the bills started to add up for him. I offered to him, I said, you know, your cancer came back. Would you like for me to give you the money? We don't need to use it for a hands-free device. Use the dollars to help battle your fight right now. He said, no, I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better, and I'm going to get my hands-free device by Christmas. Well, unfortunately, his cancer never went away, and it just got worse, and his medical bills really started accruing. And he came to me and he said, you know, I think, darling, we're going to have to use that money for some medical expenses. So I wrote him a check, and I sent it out to him, and he cashed it. And so he did receive money while he was still alive, and it did go towards his medical expenses. And if you go on WrestlersRescue.org and you press the financial button up on the top, you'll see every single dollar that came in for that campaign and every single dollar that went out. You'll see a copy of the check with the signed signature on the back showing that he did receive money prior to him passing away, and he did use that for medical expenses. After Dr. Death Steve Williams, there was a gentleman named Michael Porter. Michael Porter was someone who helped Finn put up the rings when they were in California on like non-televised events. And I think once or twice he filled in for Howard Finkel because Howard wasn't available to come in. And unfortunately, this doesn't qualify him as a professional wrestler in our industry. So he came to me looking for about $500 because he was back due on his rent. He said he had some problems with his SSI. And I expressed to him that, I'm sorry, but we're not in the business of giving out money for rent, that we help with healthcare issues and healthcare needs. And he, kept talking to me, and I felt bad for him. So I told him that if he had friends in the business that he can call, that I wouldn't give him any of our numbers, but if he had his own numbers to call and he got merchandise from them, that they can send it to Wrestlers Rescue. We would be the facilitator. We would also sell the merchandise on our website because we do have high traffic on our website, and we would sell the items and then give him the money. But it was on two conditions. One is we needed the eviction letter saying that he was being evicted, and two, a notarized letter from his landlord stating that he would be willing to work with us and work with the program and not evict Michael Porter. Well, I never received any of the paperwork. I then expressed to Michael, friend Paula at the time, because she was transferring conversations back and forth. We were unable to help them, that we never received the paperwork, and that, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do to help you. At that time, some merchandise had come in. It was some pictures from Chris Masters, Dan Severin, Samoan, Scott Hall, I believe. Yeah, I know Scott Hall. And what I did was I called up each individual person and I asked them, would you like me to send back your merchandise, or would you like me to keep it here and give it to the next person? And obviously, they were all 8x10s. They didn't want their 8x10s back. They just said, keep it for the next person. Scott Hall had sent a bunch of T-shirts and things like that. He said, Dawn, keep it. Don't you dare send it back to me. So that's what happened with Michael Porter. When I told them that I would not be able to help them, they told me that I would pay for it. Well, I did pay for it. I lost a 3-book deal with Medallion Press, and I also lost a television show for Wrestlers Rescue because they went on a campaign, a smear campaign, and they used Dr. Death Steve Williams as the person they were going to get me with. They said that I never gave Dr. Death any money. They said that I was a very bad person and a lot of ugly things. But if you go to WrestlersRescue.org and you go to the financial button, again, all of those accusations are proven false. and I have all the proof right there. After that came Jerry Lynn. Well, Jerry Lynn, he's a great guy. Anyone that knows him knows he's a great guy, and I consider him a friend. He called me last summer, and he told me about what was going on with his back and asked me what Wrestlers Rescue was about. So I told him what Wrestlers Rescue was about, but that I was unsure if I'd be able to help him because of the smear campaign that we were just coming out of. I then had some appearances and such, and I would collect items from people and friends and co-workers for Jerry's campaign. Started to do that. I called the Cauliflower Alley Club on his behalf, and the Cauliflower Alley Club sent him $1,000. And then towards Christmas time, they decided to send him another $1,000. So he got $2,000 from the Cauliflower Alley Club. I, unfortunately, was not able to do a campaign for Jerry because there was just too much damage left over from the smear campaign. So what I did with those items that I collected was I kept them in our storeroom, and I'm just going to use them for the next person we do a fundraiser for. There were some 8x10s, a doll, nothing of great value, just things that would add up and collect some money. Then we come to Jimmy Snuka.
Now, that's the end of part one right there, folks. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on ahead. We're going to take another commercial break. We'll get you guys caught up on the very latest and other wrestling-related news, and then we'll play the conclusion to that Dawn Marie Speaks Out piece, and then I'll give you my overall takeaway from it. It's been a very heated topic over the weekend since these two-part videos had came out. You definitely don't want to miss what I have to say about this. If you liked what I said about Kamala, you'll definitely appreciate what I have to say with regards to what all has been happening with Dawn Marie. So we're going to go on ahead, and we're going to take another commercial break. When we come right back, we'll go ahead and we'll jump right into it. So hang tight, folks. You're listening to the RCWR Show, Tuesday Night Wrestling Report. Actually bleeding into Wednesday morning now, as it's now August 8th, 2012. Very good morning to everybody. We'll be coming right back, folks. Hang tight.
Tired of those wrestling websites that give you redirects, spyware, weird pop-ups? How about those misleading headlines? Instead of hitting the keyboard in frustration, why not visit InfinityOneProductions.com? Infinity One is the source for wrestling-related news and so much more without all the hassle. Visit InfinityOneProductions.com. Your keyboard will thank you.
Hey guys, Lee Sanders here with the RCWR Show, and I'd like to take this time out to tell you about one or two quick apps that I think you should check out when you get a free moment. First app I'd like to recommend to you is the app from Stitcher. Now, Stitcher allows you to be able to play all our episodes of the RCWR Show and Impact Showdown on your portable devices, such as an Android phone, Kindle Fire, iPad, you name it, it'll be able to play it. So definitely highly recommend that you check that out. It's available for free in the App Store. Stitcher, new and smart way to play radio. Also, another cool app that I'd like to recommend to you all is a new app that had came out not too long ago from Apple. That's right, Apple has recently come out with a free podcast app. Now, this app is really cool, folks, because after we are done doing our shows, all you have to do is just subscribe to our episodes. And you can do this by downloading this new free podcast app. All you have to do, visit the App Store on your iPhone or iPad and just search podcast. Once the app is downloaded, you can then type in the name of our shows, the RCWR Show and Impact Showdown, and you'll be able to subscribe. It's that easy. So you have two cool free apps that you can check out and take all our episodes with you on the go. So get to it already.
All right, guys, and we are back. This is the RCWR Show. I'm, of course, as always, the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders. So, in our last segment, we had just got done listening to Dawn Marie come to the defense of her organization, WrestlersRescue.org, answering all the questions about what all was transpiring with Dr. Death, Steve Williams. We'll definitely be playing part 2 of that as she was getting ready to talk about WWE Hall of Famer Jimmy Snuka. But first, we definitely want to get you guys caught up on the very latest and what else has been happening in the wrestling beat. For those of you that may have not heard, it looks like WWE diva Rosa Mendez had came into a little bit of unfortunate trouble courtesy of her fiance, as TMZ had broke out on Monday that her fiance apparently is a woman beater, and she's been afraid of him and feels that eventually he'll try to kill her. Now, TMZ claims that they had came across a police report talking about all of this, and that the man that she is afraid of is a former WWE talent. Now, the San Antonio Police Department, they found Mendez crying in a bathroom stall at a San Antonio airport late Sunday night. Now, she was repeatedly saying that she needed help. She was then flown to her home in Vegas to San Antonio for a WWE event. Now, also according to the police report, Rosa told the police that her fiancé had hit her several times at their shared residence in Las Vegas. Now, the former WWE talent that is Rosa's fiancé, that is in question, is Jackson Andrews. Now, for those of you that may not be too familiar with that name, you'll definitely be able to place the name to the face when you see it, as he was in the WWE sometime in 2011. He was a bodyguard to Tyson Kidd, so that should kind of jog your memory up a little bit. If you still aren't quite sure how he looks, just feel free to look up that article on TMZ's website. You can also just type in WWE Jackson Andrews in a Google search, and you'll definitely be able to see the images of this guy. Now, it should be noted that also in the report, cops note that Rosa Mendez was under the influence of alcohol at the time that they had made contact with her, but they did say that she really did genuinely seem afraid of her fiancé, as she really did come off as if this guy really was going to try to kill her. Now, a rep for WWE had told TMZ that Melina contacted a WWE talent relations representative in the morning to notify WWE upon her arrival in San Antonio last evening. She then contacted police at the airport after the alleged domestic abuse that occurred just right prior to her flight. Now, it should be noted that Andrew Jackson Andrews, whatever the hell you want to call this guy, he was let go from the WWE in 2011 for breach of contract after continuing to blow off training sessions. Well, I guess he wanted to sit up and strike blows to his woman instead. Now, some people in WWE, they are very familiar with what all has been happening with Rosa Mendez, and they are sitting up saying that this isn't the first time that they have heard of a scuffle between these two. It just seems like they have always been getting into it time and time again. But you know what? This is one of those type of deals where something needs to happen, and something needs to happen soon. She either needs to hurry up and get herself out of this situation that she's in, or the end result could possibly end up in a case where it's her life. then it's kind of like, what's going to happen then? Personally, I've never been a fan of Rosa Mendez, but the one thing that I just can't stomach as a man, I just can't stomach when another man decides he wants to lay his hands on a woman. Now, so far, this guy, he has not released any type of statement trying to explain himself or at least put out there that, hey, this is just a big misunderstanding. I didn't even do anything. I don't know what's happening with these allegations. He is just keeping it cool and quiet right now. So, hey, it's probably a good thing that he is not currently active on the WWE roster, because I know Vinnie Mac as well as a few other guys in the back there, they have a pretty good reputation for not liking woman beaters. This guy definitely would not make it in a backstage area coming off of the heels of what all just happened. So we'll definitely be continuing to stay on top of this story, let you guys know more as it becomes available. But this Jackson Andrews guy, real fucking tool right here, real piece of work. If it's legit, he really did put her hands on her. I really hope that he gets what's coming to him. There's no excuse. I don't care how mad you get. I don't care how shitty your day is. If you have a bad day, you feel like hitting something, do like I do. Just grab some darts, go get you a dart board, play some music, cool off that way, or go shoot some pool, go out for a walk the dog, lift weights. The answer isn't putting your hands on the person that you supposedly love. So that's all I got to say about that. I think that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I think everybody would agree with those comments right there. All right, so let's move right along now and also let you guys know what else has been happening. Stone Cold Steve Austin, he recently updated fans on Twitter about how his knee rehab has been going, as he recently had surgery last month. Now, he wrote on Twitter that his knee rehab is going good and that the knee is coming around. Speaking of Stone Cold, I don't know if you guys saw this picture that's been floating around. We're definitely going to make sure that we get it and post it on our Facebook page at Infinity One Productions after we're done with the show and we upload it on YouTube. There's this really cool picture that's floating around of him signing all these WWE cards that's going to be coming in the Stone Cold Steve Austin limited edition of WWE 13 when it drops October 13th. The only way you'll be able to get these autograph cards by the man himself is to pre-order that copy. So from the pictures that I saw, man, props to the person that sits up and just so happens to come across all those cards. If they so happen to disappear, they would make a killing on eBay. I mean, he signed so many cards. He did it for 8 hours. Can you imagine just doing signatures for 8 hours? Your hand would get pretty damn tired after a while. I wonder how many breaks he took, if he did take any breaks. But nice to know Stone Cold Steve Austin's knee is healing up pretty good. In other wrestling-related news, JTG is a little bit under the water right now. It looks like he's got a few people trying to stay clear of him, as recently he spoke out about being unhappy about his role in the company and that he is tired of feeling like he's being taken advantage of. That's right. Now, JTG, along with several other wrestlers, are talking about how upset they were with their WrestleMania payoffs. They felt that since WrestleMania's buy rates were so high and everybody was just getting big pay cuts, they felt that they were actually entitled to it. And it looks like JTG, who broke that pact and with silence no more would announce his disgust, his displeasure, has a lot of the mid-card wrestlers dodging him in the backstage area. It was reported that for the most part during last Monday night's Raw, he was just floating around backstage alone. WWE officials, they tried to go over to him and see if he was okay, what was wrong. But, hey, at least somebody spoke up. I can appreciate what JTG is saying, but at the same time, I mean, he's a mid-card guy. You can't really sit up and expect too much. I mean, the same thing goes for these other mid-card wrestlers, they're doing what they can to put over the top guys. It's not quite their time. Hey, at least you have a job, as it's really tough to find a job right now in this economy. So I appreciate the fact that he stood up, but I think in this case he's a little bit off with what he's talking about. I know we had some people that sat up and said, wait a minute, JTG is still with the WWE? Where the hell has he been? So if I was JTG, I think the best advice I would give him would be to kind of keep it cool, keep it a little quiet right now, especially if you haven't found another gig just yet. And in other wrestling-related news, we saw an interesting article that we thought we'd share with you all. It has to do with Big Sexy Kevin Nash, who came off a little bit of a flip-flopper. Now, he recently, a few months back, had praise for CM Punk as WWE Champion. Well, this time around, Kevin Nash did a report with Grantland.com, and he talked about Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, and he also touched up on CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. Now, with regards to CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, Kevin Nash would say that they are not bigger than life, and that he bets that they could walk through an airport and not be noticed unless they have a gimmick shirt on and the belt. Now, he would also go on to say how when Benoit and Guerrero hugged at WrestleMania 20, that was the end of the business, that the business hadn't been the same since that WrestleMania, that it came pretty close to the Austin era, maybe perhaps close to the NWO or the Hogan era. He would also go on to say when you put those two guys that were great workers that were of the same height as the referees, then he would just go on to say a bunch of stuff that I don't even need to get into. It tied into porn. I mean, he was just really going out there. It's definitely a great read, though. I highly recommend that you check that piece out. It is on Grantland.com. Definitely check that out when you get a moment. But very interesting words right there from Kevin Nash. And in other wrestling-related news, we have the very latest on Maria Kanellis, who apparently is cryptically accusing Kelly Kelly of having some type of a personal life, if you will. Not really sure what to really make about this. It kind of looks like maybe the start of a little cat fight that's going to be in development. We're paying attention to this story very closely, as so far we're not really sure what to make of it, as supposedly there might be naked pictures floating around of Kelly Kelly. I don't really know what to make of this. I don't know if it's a, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know if it's a work or what, but we're definitely going to be paying attention to that. But nice to see these two girls are kind of going at it. All right, and that's pretty much going to do it for wrestling-related news. Let's go on ahead and let's come back to part 2 of the Dawn Marie piece that we need to wrap up. Now, we played part 1 of it for you earlier. I definitely want to play part 2 for you guys. Now, once again, for those of you that haven't heard this piece, hey, okay, then you already know what to expect. For those of you that have heard this piece, I want for you guys just endure, all right? Just close your eyes, pretend that you're hearing this for the first time, take in this information as if it's brand new. And then when Dawn Marie is done explaining herself in Wrestler's Rescue, I'm definitely going to chime in my thoughts. Like I said, it's been a very heated topic. A lot of people, it's almost 50-50. It's just ridiculous what's been happening since these 2-part videos have come out. I'll definitely chime in my thoughts on this. So let's go on ahead now and let's play part 2 for you guys.
After that came Jerry Lynn. Well, Jerry Lynn, he's a great guy. Anyone that knows him knows he's a great guy, and I consider him a friend. He called me last summer, and he told me about what was going on with his back and asked me what Wrestlers Rescue was about. So I told him what Wrestlers Rescue was about, but that I was unsure if I'd be able to help him because of the smear campaign that we were just coming out of. I then had some appearances and such, and I would collect items from people and friends and co-workers for Jerry's campaign. Started to do that. I called the Cauliflower Alley Club on his behalf, and the Cauliflower Alley Club sent him $1,000. And then towards Christmas time, they decided to send him another $1,000. So he got $2,000 from Cauliflower Alley Club. I, unfortunately, was not able to do a campaign for Jerry because there's just too much damage left over from the smear campaign. So what I did with those items that I collected was I kept them in our storeroom, and I'm just going to use them for the next person we do a fundraiser for. There were some 8x10s, a doll, nothing of great value, just things that would add up and collect some money. Then we come to Jimmy Snuka. Jimmy Snuka, we had a successful campaign. Everything went smoothly. He's better now. His wife actually works for the foundation because she saw how hard that we work and how diligent we were, and she loves the cause. And it was just a really great time, and we had a great, successful campaign. Then comes Kamala, James Harris. About a month and a half ago, we started a campaign for him, and we started raising dollars because he had lost his legs from the knees down due to diabetes, and he's on dialysis. We were actually going to do Marty Jannetty next, but we kind of pushed him to the side because we felt that Kamala was more time of the essence. So we started raising dollars for Kamala. About on July 18th, he called me, and we were talking, and I just had the feeling that he needed some money the way we were talking, and I told him I would send him out a check for $500 that I didn't finish doing the bookkeeping. I didn't know exact number of what had come in, but I know at least about $500 was there, and that I would be able to send him off $500. And the next couple days, he said, great. That was on the 18th. On the 20th, well, actually on the 18th, then I went to PayPal. I transferred over the $500 to our account. I'm only allowed to do $500 a month transfer anyway. Transferred over $500 into our account and wrote him out a check on the 20th. It took 2 days for PayPal to transfer the monies in. On the 21st, I mailed the letter. Sometime between the 21st and the 26th, he received the letter, opened it, took out the check, put it into a new envelope, sealed it, and mailed it back to me certified mail. On the 30th, I received this letter, sorry we missed you, and that was on 7/30, the 30th of July. Sender James Harris, that there was a certified letter for me at the post office, and I could pick it up on 7/31. Here's the check I sent Kamala. It's made out to James Harris for $500. The post date on this is July 26, 2012, from Sardis, Mississippi. Any of these images you'll be able to find on WrestlersRescue.org. So the truth is, so then on the, that was the 30th, on the 26th he mailed it out to us. On the 30th, they tried to deliver it back to me, certified mail. On the 31st, James Harris decided to put a video out stating that he never received any money from us that I was garbage and a lot of other very ugly things. I don't understand why someone would be so ugly to someone that's trying to help them. Clearly, I had sent you the money. Clearly, you decided you didn't want that. I heard through the grapevine it was because it wasn't sent to you fast enough.
Now, let's stop it right there. Let's just stop it right there. We'll end it on that one. Okay? Now, there you have it. So, let's just go through all this right now. So, I've been paying attention to what everybody has been saying about Dawn Marie's videos, and I must say, as a wrestling fan, some of the comments that you all have left for Dawn Marie, and get this, folks, I mean, because we tried our damnedest. We even reached out to Dawn Marie to appear on tonight's show. All right? So not only did we reach out to Dawn Marie, we reached out to Kamala, and we reached out to Dan Mariotti. Okay? We gave them the opportunity to come on the show, give them the platform, say their piece, interact with you, the wrestling fans. I've seen the comments that a lot of wrestling fans have made about what all Dawn Marie had to say. And I must say, as a wrestling fan, I'm a little bit disappointed because some of the comments that I read from you guys, it kind of, perfectly honest, it kind of made me at one point feel ashamed to be a wrestling fan because I'm seeing some of these comments. We got guys that are sitting up, I mean, literally just being stupid, sitting up and saying that, you know, you're fat, you're ugly, you're this, you're that, you're not hot anymore. I mean, just being very juvenile about something that is a very serious accusation. We're talking about somebody's name, somebody's company that's being attacked, and there really is no joking matter about that. When you've been in the type of business that you've been in, that respected business at that, for the long period of time that you've been at it, you start to build that respectable reputation. You want to try to make sure that you do everything in your power to keep that good reputation going. You don't want for it to be tarnished. So this is something that's pretty serious, and to see a lot of these people comment the way that they commented, it just really made me feel embarrassed as far as being a wrestling fan. I mean, we even had some comments go as far as to say she's the devil, she's a lying, cheating bitch, she should burn in hell, she should get what's coming to her. Now, granted, should she have said what she said about the late Michael Porter? No. Yeah, we can agree he wasn't a wrestler. But Dawn Marie, nobody ever was saying that he was a wrestler. The man spent 4 decades involved in the wrestling industry as an announcer, went on to have a successful radio show. I mean, God, more than one radio show, actually. The man's a freaking legend of his own right. It's understandable if you didn't really want to help him, but you could have just left it right there, especially while keeping in mind that the guy is no longer living. Unfortunately, the guy can't defend himself. I mean, honestly, his name shouldn't have even been mentioned from your mouth. Now, Marty Jannetty, everybody knows Marty Jannetty. He used to have a checkered past. Nowadays, he's trying to find Christ. He's trying to rid himself of his old ways. You know, I can understand you tackling what all had happened with Dr. Death, Steve Williams. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate what you did with the whole Kamala thing. And I went to the RCWRSHOW website myself. I checked out the paperwork. I have had the pleasure of filling out several checks. I know how to spot a fake when I see it, and everything just really looks to be legit. I would see no reason why she would jump out there to falsify information because, you know, that's pretty serious. I mean, we got people that are just blinded by rage over the fact that they strongly believe that she did not give Dr. Death Steve Williams any money, but yet she has the proof in black and white. She has the man's signature on the back of a check that she mailed out to him to cash. Then we have what went down with Kamala. Now, keep in mind, if you've been paying attention now, this is twice now that we have heard two names pop up between Dawn Marie and Dan Mariotti, the Cauliflower Alley Club, of which they both respectively made money out for Kamala through them. All right? So that's the first connection. The second connection, this is the second time now that we're hearing the story of Kamala saying that the money did not come to him fast enough, and as a result, he's shitting on these people that are trying to help him. Let's connect the dots here. And once again, the check information, all that with Kamala, she's got that up on the website as well, at least last we had checked. So to see some of you guys sit up and comment, I mean, some of you all's comments, I'm sorry, they're just really stupid. They have no basis. They have, there's no argument that can be made from them. It's just blatant stupid. It's just blatant hatred for an individual because you all are too blind to really see the truth. If she is guilty of anything, we are not the ones to judge her. We have a court system for that. We have the FBI. We got the IRS. We let it be their jobs to investigate her and her organization. And it's very unfortunate that all this has happened. If I could give Dawn Marie some type of advice right now, I would say I could appreciate you trying to make a difference in the world. I can appreciate you trying to put down your claim and make your mark in this world, but I just really think that it would be in your best interest to maybe rethink what all is going on with this Wrestlers Rescue organization. Maybe you should put it on the shelf. And folks, she's had the pleasure of working with the WWE. She did work with Vince McMahon on something through her organization. She had the pleasure of working with Kevin Nash. She had the pleasure of working with Mick Foley. If there is anything shady about all this, don't you think that those big three would have definitely stepped up to the plate and said something? Don't you think Jerry Lynn would have jumped in on this? Obviously, it's not looking right if you got Kamala sitting up bashing people for not getting his money promptly, and then once he realizes that money is being sent out to them, rather than be a man and admit that he made a mistake and apologize for the harsh words, he does the next best thing and block them on Facebook and Twitter, which in my book, where I come from, that's a coward move. You say something wrong, you make a mistake, you're a man too, you man up. You own it. You live with it. We all make mistakes. It happens. That's just the bottom line with that. But that's just honestly what I would say should happen with Dawn Marie. She should definitely rethink twice about this Wrestlers Rescue. And it's unfortunate because, a lot of people, they want to criticize her, but they aren't really sure about her background. I'm quite sure if you guys made it your business to really do research on Dawn Marie, you would find that back in her time, I mean, she's not an old lady. She's only 41, but you would find that she has a very smart mind. Before she went into wrestling, she was actually in real estate, and she had decided that, after pursuing a career, modeling, acting, she should try to see if she could do something on the wrestling circuit, and that would eventually lead her on the indie scene being a wrestling promoter. And then eventually she become a valet of sort or whatever. So the woman is very smart. If it doesn't surprise me that she sat up and used her brains and her resources to try to create an organization like this. But now that we have so many people that are just shitting upon her, you know, it's really probably a good idea to just maybe rethink this, or maybe try to see if she could bring in the name that brings integrity, that brings honor, that a name that people can definitely trust and take comfort knowing that nothing weird is going to happen. So many people wanted to point out, oh, she's blanking so many times. You know, honestly, you know, maybe she was kind of fighting back tears. Have you all ever thought about that? I mean, females, unfortunately, guys, and this goes out to you fucking stupid idiots out there that sat up and was calling her all these stupid names. I would hate to see how you would do with a girlfriend, a wife, or whatever, because the way some of you all have bashed this woman, there's a way to disagree with what you're seeing and hearing without insulting somebody. Okay? Some of you all's comments that were put out there for Dawn Marie, it just really made me say to myself, damn. So how do you really feel about this female? Where is the respect here? Because when it's all said and done, we all have come from a woman's womb. So I don't know about you guys, but the way I was raised, you treat women with respect, even when they get on your nerves and you don't quite like them. Who are we to judge somebody that we've probably never even met before in our lives? So, you know, some of you guys, you know, one-on-one crash course, because obviously some of you all don't know women. Some women, they can't handle that type of verbal abuse that's coming at them. Us men, we can probably handle it because we got tough skin. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if she went on ahead and she got rid of WrestlersRescue.org because of all the negative feedback, the hate emails, the backlash that she's been getting. It really wouldn't surprise me. At the same time, I would hope, though, she would have a tough enough skin to ride it out, especially if she believes in the cause, she believes in what she's doing, and she feels that she really is making a difference. Then I would say continue to fight. But all this talk about how her image, her company has already been a bit tarnished, it's been hurting her from getting book deals, things of that nature, well, then maybe she should go on ahead and quietly hang it up. And that's the bottom line on that. Let's go on ahead and get some of you guys' reactions right now. Feel free to go ahead and call us right now. We got a few minutes left on tonight's show. You can call us right now at 646-478-3525. Once again, that's 646-478-3525. We got a couple of people that has been on hold for a good while now, especially since the show had began. Definitely want to hear from you guys. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Let's go to our good friend from the Michigan area, Dave, as always, loyal listener. Dave, thanks for staying up, bro. You're live on the air.
Hey, no problem. I was going to talk about, like, great match between Daniel Bryan and John Cena, but I kind of want to talk about this whole Dawn Marie and Kamala situation. I mean, I feel bad for the guy, and it's just weird how the whole check situation, if you got a check, why would he just send it back? That's really confusing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it does seem, it's really sad that the WWE, which I don't know if they do or not, but it would seem like they would have some type of foundation for ex-wrestlers who are going through health issues like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they do or not, but all these guys, even if he wasn't a big, he did have some, I did look up some stuff while I was listening to you on the phone, about he had some pretty good matches back in the 80s, like 92 Survivor Series with The Undertaker, basket match, I think it was.
Mm.
But, I mean, he had some really good matches throughout his career, and he did make them some money, whether they want to admit it or not. But he did make them some pretty good money, I'm sure. He might have not have been a Hulk Hogan draw, more of a Jake, maybe not even Jake the Snake draw. But he was a draw nonetheless. You had Hulk Hogan and whoever, that was a draw.
Mm. And how do you feel about what's been happening with Dawn Marie?
that just, I mean, I'm a fan of Dawn Marie, and I was looking at some of the stuff you were talking about. I wanted to go on about some of the comments, and I was just like, man, but that's YouTube. I'm sure you've had hateful comments on your page. I don't know if you guys have comments or not, but, or you guys block them, but, I mean, that's what YouTube is about. You're going to get that guy or those guys who will sit at home behind their computer just bashing people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In that whole situation, it's kind of hard. I mean, who do you believe, really? I mean, it's basically a flip of a coin.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I can believe Kamala, what you're saying, but if someone sent you a check, why would you send it back to them when you just ask them for help? That's just suspicious to me.
Yeah, I mean, money is money, even if you may not like the fact that it came
thing,
late,
yeah.
you know.
And to put it up on your website, I mean, that could be done either way. You can put it on your website and then rip it up with a check or a money order and go cash it back in after you put a picture up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so easily to do something like that.
Yeah. But she made sure there was no doubt. I mean, you know, I don't know if you saw the video, but she made sure there was no doubt. She showed the certified note. We all have seen that little slip when we have something sent to us, certified mail. She opened the check. You know, she left there being no doubt that, you know, this is the real deal. I mean, if that was a work, I mean, she put a hell of a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, that's confusing. Like, okay, let's say he did get it. I mean, why? Unless hearing his interview sounded, I don't want to make this sound like a racist comment, but it's almost, I don't want to be racist anyway, but it almost felt like I was listening to a sermon at church.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I felt like just listening, it felt like almost a sermon I'm hearing, like, you say I don't want your money, these people are no good. And it was just like, almost like I was sitting back listening to a sermon.
Yeah.
And he seems like he could have been hopped up on some type of painkiller or maybe even a few drinks in him or something like that when he made this video.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that could have been a big reason why the video even got made, period.
Yeah, he definitely seemed a little off. Shame to the person who was recording it, though. I mean...
Yeah. I haven't got to see the video, but... Yeah, I haven't got to see the whole Dawn Marie one thing. But I want to talk about something. I know you're letting me go, but I want to say one more thing, wrestling related.
Yeah.
About Monday, the thing I was disappointed at, I enjoyed the Divas match, but what I thought they could have done is have Eve versus Layla and have Eve pick up the win to set up a Divas match for them at SummerSlam. Or whoever they wanted to have her face at SummerSlam. Unless Eve's not going to be there, I don't know. But I thought they could have done something like that.
Yeah, that would have been kind of cool. I mean, they still got, about 2 weeks left? They might be able to make a little something happen.
Yeah, but with this 3 hours, they could do something. They take 20 minutes and devote it to your Divas division. Give you something.
I know, it's crazy, man. Well, Dave, thank you as always, man. We appreciate it when you call into the show. Thanks for staying up late with us tonight. Thanks to all of you who ended up staying late tonight. And I just wanted to comment on some dumbass comments that was put in the chat room. Drummer Magic, we'll definitely be looking out for this person because this person really isn't anything significant. This is the type of comments that I'm talking about, and this is what we've been getting when we've been looking at her YouTube pieces. And to follow up on what you had said, Dave, oh, yeah, we get comments on our videos, but unlike Dawn Marie, we actually set ours up so that we cherry-pick comments. We don't mind seeing constructive criticism comments, but if you're just going to hit us up with, oh, man, you're shit, well, rest assured that's not going to get approved. Now, if you come at us with, hey, you know, this is okay, but I got some suggestions on how this show could probably be better, or, hey, I don't agree with this piece because blah, 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 you know, then we give you a plug or whatever. But I seriously think Dawn Marie, if there was ever a time she should have had her comments pending upon approval, it definitely should have been on those videos. And this just gives you an idea, folks, on some of the dumbass comments that people have been making. Now, this is what a person had to say with regards to Dawn Marie. And this is for Drummer Magic. So, yeah, we'll be blasting him, okay? the law. Your mercy will come when I'm ready to grant it. I'll make another decision tomorrow after I see the changes I fucking demand. So, really not sure what the fuck all that is about, but that just gives you an idea of some of the people that's been chiming in their thoughts on this, you know. But, hey, it is what it is. We could probably end up talking about this all freaking night, about why Dahmery is probably, doing no harm, why she's probably evil. There's really not going to be any answer, no clear-cut answer. We have so many sides that are sitting up, and it's really hard to believe who's telling the truth. We did our best to have all three try to come on the show tonight, but nobody wanted to accept. We'll keep trying. Maybe we can make something happen. In the meantime, that's going to do it, folks. I thank you guys so much for staying up late with us tonight. Thank those of you that participated in the chat room, those of you that called into the show, those of you that are going to be checking the show out on the downloads. Hey, let's do this again this Thursday night at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern for our Impact Showdown Radio. We'll get you caught up on the latest installment of Impact Wrestling, and we'll get you caught up on the latest in TNA wrestling-related news. Till next time, folks, I'm the Black Avenger. Till I hear from y'all next time, be safe and be kind to one another. Take care, folks. See you next time.